All right, so tomorrow we're finally getting a balance patch with season 1 of Ranked. It's been God knows how long since we've gotten a balance patch, and yeah, this video I'm gonna be live. I'm live on stream right now, so that's cool. But I will be going over all of the patch notes. So yeah, it's a long list because it's been like 2 years since we actually got a proper balance patch. So it's gonna be a long one. Let's get into it. So up first, we have mechanic changes, which, yeah, this is like type chart and just various mechanics. So as you can see up there, simple is getting a buff. Ice types are no longer going to resist the simple type, and simple will also resist spirit. So this is a big buff for something like Servalin, because it loves spamming like Stampede and stuff, which is also getting reworked, and we're gonna like get into that later. But yeah, Servalin is going to be a big recipient of this buff, because something like Icicle is going from a quad resist to a single resist, and so yeah, that's... Yeah, I also don't like the fact that the ice types suck, and they're going to be worse. So that's unfortunate. But up next we have Sleep. Originally, how sleep currently works is if you're getting put to sleep, you're asleep for 2 turns guaranteed. This is changing so that you're only asleep for 1 turn. And if a Loomian is forced to go to sleep, it'll be woken up immediately if it's attacked. So any damage, currently it's if you take 25% of your health, you'll wake up. But it'll change, so all damage or attacks, it's attacks, so not all damage, but any direct damage will wake you up immediately. So this is a sleep nerf. We love sleep nerfs. It'll probably still be broken. Paralysis, it's being changed so that you will no longer be fully paralyzed, but it will turn off passive energy regen, which is the next thing on the list. So you're not going to get passive energy regen, but you will no longer be fully paralyzed. It will still cut the speed, but yeah, no full paralysis. No full paralysis. Where is freeze? Oh, I skipped freeze. I'm stupid. Freeze is being changed from draining your energy every turn to just a ranged version of burn. So, I mean that's a buff. Nobody really uses freeze, especially because it's so hard to set anyway. It's so inconsistent. We just recently got a move to guarantee freeze, so yeah, this is a buff for that. It is, yes, HP chip will happen as well. It is becoming a burn, but for ranged attack. And then passive energy regen. This is like the big change of Season 1. At the end of your turn, all Loomians will be getting 5% of their energy back every turn. Energy management is going to be a lot easier. There's going to be a lot more energy in a game. I will say that pretty much nothing else is happening with energy, or almost nothing else is happening with energy with this. All the energy changes are happening with Season 2 after we get used to, you know, this in Season 1. So this is also a huge buff to something like Holobunch, who attacks with its energy stat. Because Holobunch needed a buff. Holobunch is 100% getting nerfed in Season 2, though. It is 100% locked in, it's getting nerfed in Season 2. Now we're moving on to ability changes. So this is we're changing the effects of current abilities in the game. We're going to see Cosmic Pressure, which is Cosmior's ability. It's buffed so that not only will it turn off all weathers while it's on the field, ancient type moves will deal 25% more damage. So yeah, this is a buff for Unleashed Cosmior. I don't know if it'll be enough, but it's something, right? So now we have Oxidize. So currently what Oxidize does is it gives you a melee defense buff if you are hit by an air or water move at the cost of like a speed reduction. It's being reworked so that you will get 50% more range defense if rain or gusts are active. So this is just... it's a buff for Oxidrake for sure, because then you don't have to get hit by anything, you just have to be in the weather. But now it's, instead of melee defense, it's range defense. So I don't know how you're gonna build your Oxidrakes, but it's a rework. So up next we have Flutter. So this is the ability on Cinnamoth. If you're switched into battle with Strong Gusts up, it has to be Strong Gusts up. It's going to remove all entry hazards. It currently is so that you're immune to all entry hazards, which is funny because you're immune to all but one of them. So this is just making it so you remove them. So this is a turning into a Strong Gusts ability. So that's a buff for Cinemoth. I don't know if you're going to use it on Strong Gust teams, but Trader is being nerfed so that it activates at the end of the turn rather than immediately upon switch in. Now, I don't know if abilities like this are going to work like Rev Up, where you need to be in for a full turn before it activates, or if it will work if you just switch it in. And I've asked Jamie, he doesn't know either. I guess we'll see on Thursday. So the severity of the nerf really depends on if it's like Rev Up or not. Because having to spend a full turn in battle before this activates is a lot bigger ask than just switching in. Resentful on Imperior line is getting nerfed, so it only deals 50% damage instead of all of the damage that it was meant to. So the damage it currently deals is getting cut in half. So this is to make it so Imperior just switching into kill trade is much less effective. You need to actually chip stuff before you can Imperior them. Luck of the Sea, this is Hydralin's ability. It's getting buffed so that it also boosts the damage of critical hits on top of boosting their critical hit rate. So this is Marksman and Razor Sharp, as it says right there, in one ability. This will be a lot bigger if/when we ever get a scope lens. But for now, Hydralin still sucks. Tank is getting nerfed on Yearsnack, Mutagon, and Dyborg. Entry hazards will activate the ability. So if you switch in on Icicle Traps, you'll take half damage from Icicle Traps, and then you lose your tank. Swampy, it currently has a 10% chance to drop HP, or to drop their speed when you hit them with a plant move. This is Malamurk's ability. That chance is being buffed to 100%. So any plant move you would hit them with will drop their speed. Or I should say plant attack. Luru, which is Sumobito's ability, is being buffed to work with 70 base power moves. It currently only works with 60 base power moves, so Counter Stance will benefit from this. I believe Horndachi is also getting buffed. We'll see as we scroll down, but yeah, this will work for stronger moves. Mystic Tone, this is Celestine's ability. It's being buffed so all moves, all attacks activate the ability rather than just contact ones. It's also getting the bug fix where dodge and immunities currently activate it. So those won't activate Mystic Tone anymore, but every single attack Celestine takes will activate this ability. Oh boy. The RNG will be wild. This will probably be banned in every tournament because it's just RNG. But yeah, that's a big buff for Celestine. Burning Rage, Chilling Passion, Incandescent, Pitch Black. These are all being nerfed where their specific moves cost 25% more energy. This is because of passive energy regen, and also he doesn't want these 50% boosting abilities to have no drawbacks anymore. So that is why all of these are getting hit. Now, don't ask me the difference between Burning Rage and Pyro. I could not tell you. I don't know how you're going to differentiate those, but I guess, yeah, have the same ability. Same with Pitch Black, or not Pitch Black, Railgun, Obsidian Heart, Heavy Fist, Power Jaw. These are all going to nerf the energy costs by 10%. So all of those moves affected will cost more energy. Party Trick, it's getting the Trader treatment. It's going to activate at the end of a turn rather than immediately. Again, the severity of this nerf also depends on if it's like Rev Up or if it's just you switch in and then it activates. Again, it'll depend. Up next, we have Ambush, which I don't think is deserving of a nerf, but it's getting nerfed to a 50% power increase rather than 100%. And so that means every Ambush user is probably not going to use Ambush anymore. Because, like, the requirement for this to activate is catching them on a switch. All of that for 50% more power when all these other ones just happen, right? So, Joltooth will switch to Overcharged. Terrafly a lot of people already use Bug Fever. And Kanibo, I mean, you have Madcap, I guess. But yeah, I don't like this nerf, but it is what it is. Moving on, we have Recurrent. This is Plasmoth's ability. So buff when switching out, the power increase will be saved instead of reset. So basically you keep the charge on all of your electric moves for the whole game. And this will cap out at like 2 times damage, but yeah, you can ramp up Recurrent by spamming Zip Zap. And I don't know if this means that you'll be able to change your moves in a game, or if it just means you still have to spam electric moves. But it likely means the latter. It'll still be a gimmicky ability, but yeah. Power Napper, this is a big change. Instead of recovering 1/4 of your max HP, you are going to be recovering 33% of your missing HP. And the difference between those two is it's pretty simple. Basically what this is, the 190 HP here, you're going to recover, what, 47.5, something like that? So 47 HP if you switch out. That's what current Power Napper does. The new Power Napper is if you are at, let's say, 150 HP out of 190. You are missing 40. Why did I choose this number? I don't know, but essentially you're recovering 13 health. What this essentially does is any chip done to the Power Napper users is gonna stick. Like any early chip, it's gonna stick. But like the lower health you get, the more value you get out of it. So yeah, it'll make Luminami survive less time in a battle. Now we have Gorge. This is Soulburst Hognosh's ability. Instead of healing 10% when absorbing hazards, or I believe screens as well, it will heal 20% of its health. And I believe it's also getting bug fixed so that Shatter also procs Gorge. So yeah, Gorge buff, yay. Reverberate, this is Celestine's other ability. It's getting buffed so that you are becoming immune to sound-based moves. So Raging Howl, Rant, all of those sound-based moves, Reverberate will block after the buff. And yeah, that's all of the ability changes. So next we're going to move on to the move changes. Burn Up. Oh, well, nice typo, Jamie, but anyway. It's getting buffed, which is wild, but it's getting buffed so that if it's used in the heat wave weather, it'll give you +2 range attack instead of +1. I will say, in terms of a Season 2 change, hazard removal is on the list. So like Gust, Burn Up, those guys are going to get some sort of change. I believe the focus will be making less things have Burn Up and Gust, and them having Teardown instead. Look out for that, I guess. But for now, buff Burn Up. Anyway, Jumpstart is being buffed, so if it's used in thunderstorms, you only take 1/8 of your health instead of 1/4. So easier time setting up Jumpstart in thunderstorms. Just pray you have Magnify instead. I guess what, Guardrone in thunderstorms could be something, maybe, probably not. But anyway, complete Demolition. Complete Demolition. It's being buffed to 100% accuracy, 150 energy. It's becoming more consistent. Tsunami also being buffed to 50 energy instead of 60. It was supposed to be like your 90 base power standard water move, but for some reason it was 60. Now it is 50. Gamma Pulse is also being buffed to 40 energy instead of, what is it? I don't know how much it is right now, 50? Electro Burst, this is Ikazune's signature move. It's being buffed to 100 power, but the accuracy is being nerfed to 90, and the energy is being nerfed to 94. So, let me get Ikazune on here. Electro Burst is currently 85 power, 95 accuracy, 50 energy, so it's going up to 100, 90, and 54. So, it's still a doubles-based move, but you can use it in singles if you want to use the extra power. And now for the very needed double whack nerf. It's being nerfed to 90 accuracy. Jamie is doing this because it was apparently always meant to have 90 accuracy, despite not a soul caring about its existence. So I guess, heck, the double whack users, I guess, right? Battle Horn. This is a Trumbull buff. I mean, technically Tsukame too, but like nobody's gonna use Battle Horn Tsukame. It's buffing the energy to 30. This is what it used to be when Trumbull originally came out, and then after the overreaction nerf from Trumbull, it's getting changed back to 30 finally. So Air Whip, it's removing the high crit secondary effect. This is because Air Whip also has a chance to flinch, and so, you know, it's not meant to do two things at the same time. So there you go. Baneful Bash and Muck Blast are being nerfed so that their poison chance is only 10% rather than 20% on Baneful and 30% on Muck Blast. This is because, unlike Pokemon, the poison status only has one immunity. And so he's nerfing the poison moves to have, you know, harder RNG to hit. So the Muck Blast beams will die because, yeah, Muck Blast will no longer have a 30% poison rate. Oh boy, everybody's favorite buff. Adaptive Assault, the simple variant, Thurvelin's move, will be reworked to, instead of having a chance to drop defense or something, it will be a priority move. It will be like Quick Pounce, but really strong. And at the cost of, what, 35 energy? Another Thurvelin buff, am I right? The reason I'm sounding like this is because, one, ice types are no longer going to resist. Two, we have this priority. And three, we're going to see later, there's some more changes for Thurvelin coming up here. Anyway, Slapdown is being nerfed to no longer have an increase in power. Dark typing in Loomian is very, 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 very strong. Item removal is very strong. So, Dark type move that removes item doesn't need to be even stronger. So Slapdown will only be 65 power regardless of how you use it. Raging Tackle and Howl, their energy costs are coming down from 62 to 60. This is to be in line with Timber Thrash and whatever else has recoil at that level of power. I don't know what else. Just nice consistency in the energy cost. Baffle is being reworked to be like Ancient Roar. Instead of dropping speed on a pivot move, it will drop the offenses. It's not going to bypass Scapegoat because Ancient Roar is a sound move and Baffle is not. So yeah, it's no longer going to drop speed. And so yeah, the Baffle plus Wall Breaker shenanigan days are over. Instead now, it'll be Baffle plus Setup Sweeper. Next up we have Teardown. The energy cost is dropping to 35 instead of whatever it's at. Isn't it 50? It's so dumb that it's 50. And it's going to also lower the target's evasion by one stage. This is essentially just making it so combative and applied frustration can proc off of it. So it's a bit of a blur. Nobody's going to use Teardown anyway until, like, Season 2. But, hey, there you go. Oppress. This is Dusket's signature move. It's being buffed from 65 base power to 70. So it'll do more damage when... It'll just do more damage. So instead of 130 power on a status target, it's 140. Ill Will also being buffed, same with Splitting Headache. They're going from 60 to 70 base power. More reward for being statused, I guess. Dart Burst, which is Protagon's signature move, is being reworked from, instead of 3 hits, or 2 to 3 hits at 35 power, it is a 15 power move with 90% accuracy that will keep attacking until it misses, up to 10 times. So every time it attacks, it'll check that accuracy, and every time it lands the hit, it'll keep going. It'll just keep going until you hit up to 10 times. So this is a population bomb from Pokemon. So if we ever get a wide lens, this will make it a 99% chance to hit every time. Hypnotize and Snore Spores. They are getting reworked to work like Yawn for Pokemon. So essentially, it'll make them drowsy the first turn. And if they don't switch out, the next turn they will fall asleep. And then their accuracy is going from 75 to 90. Steel Trap, this is a move on Ursel. I don't think it's necessarily a signature move. I think it's just something he forgot about. But it will work instead of whatever it does. I don't even know what it does right now. But it'll work like Pestilence and Quicksand. It's going to become a 60 power move that traps the target. because Yurtle needed trapping. I don't know if it'll ever use it, but he'll have it. So SWAT is like, what, a 45 base power brawler move, but it'll double in power if the opponent is air type, and then remove the air type until they switch. Nobody will use this, but cool, I guess. Piercing Drive. This is Skellig's move. Change to not bypass dodge, only bypass scapegoat. Blocking moves like Briar Block. Also bypass enchant. So it will not... You can still dodge the move, but you cannot block the move. It'll bypass enchants and all that. You can dodge it, but you can't block it. And the power is going up to 85. Geyser is going from, what, 7? I don't know if it's 70 or 75, but it's going up to 80. Cool for Ventation, I guess. Sure. Health Gift and Energy Gift are going to become one move. So you will knock yourself out and then fully restore health and energy of what comes in. Up next, we have Holy Slash. This is Valkyrie's signature move. Rework to be a ranged attack, but the energy cost will go up from whatever it is to 35. So Holy Slash Valkyrie will actually be usable into something like Lashent, and there you go. Soul Drain on Cephalops is being nerfed from 85 to 80 power. Very tiny nerf, I guess. I guess he's making it consistent with the other draining moves. Parasitize, being buffed from 55 to 50 energy. So bug types will actually be able to use this a little bit more. Paint Shower, energy's going down to 50, and the power's going up to 110. I don't think you... I mean, you might use this over Muck Blast, now that the poison chance is getting nerfed, and there's a bigger difference in power, but I don't know. Phoenix Flame is being buffed so that the effect that triggers at 25% happens at 10%, and the 50% effect happens at 25%. So essentially, to clear stat changes or negative stat changes, you have to use 25% of your energy. This is being changed to only 10%. And to clear status effects, you have to use 50% of your energy, but it's being changed to 25%. So the positive sides of Phoenix Flame will be easier to get. This won't really change much for Infernix. The move still isn't going to help it. Especially with Power Napper getting nerfed, Infernix is dead. It wasn't doing too well to begin with, but yeah, Infernix is like super dead. Up next, we have Plunge, the MM. The energy cost is going down to 35. Cool. No one's going to use... I mean, maybe you might use it in like a fog team, because more on that later, but I don't see it being used. Submerge also getting an energy buff. Again, no, this is what Reptide gets. Nobody's going to use that. So up next, we have Toxic Spores and Static Spores. Those are being buffed to 90% accuracy, so more consistency on these things. So then, Talent Trade is finally being nerfed so that it's no longer permanent. I believe Jamie wanted to do a thing where he just removes Talent Trade from Setimars and Ferroglyph, but I guess he kind of decided against it. So now, Talent Trade is a useless move, let's be real. You might use it in a doubles gimmick, but other than that, you will never see this move used after the nerf. Here we go with Rant being buffed from 55 to 65 power, I believe. And then the accuracy is going down to 90, so it'll miss more often. However, it'll hit a little harder. It's overall a nerf because accuracy is more important to this move than the power, because you use it for the stat drop rather than the damage. Unless your name's like, what, Phage Knot or Elephage using Magnify? I don't know. But yeah, Rant, nerf, blurf, whatever you want to take it as. Gain Drain and Square One are being buffed so that they only cost 30. This is just to buff the ability to clear stat boosts, because there's a lot of things like to try and set up. And I think the real solution is to give these moves out to more things, but that's neither here nor there. So Pep Jab, Vital Jab, and Power Draw are all being buffed from 55 to 50 energy. So it's just making it consistent with all those 80 base power moves that drain something. So there you go. Near and Far Enchantment are going to cost less. so buffing those. The real buff for these would be an item to extend their effects, but... So yeah, you still won't really see usage from this, but it'll cost less. Flare, Lantorch's move, is finally being nerfed. It will make it so that if you switch into the move, if Lantorch uses the move and something switches in that same turn, the power will not be doubled. So you will not be able to slam any kind of switch in with a 140 base power move. You have to actually attack something on the field for the power to double. And then up next we have Wonder Herb being buffed from, I believe, 50 to 35 energy, so status clearing is cheaper. Up next we have Sap Plant being buffed to 30, which... Why? I don't know. I don't know why this is being buffed. This is already a very good move. Why are we buffing it? Blood Drain's getting the same treatment because it's kind of sort of the same move, so I guess a Vesperatu buff. Thunder Crash is being buffed to 95 power, but for 40 energy, instead of, what, 90 for 38? Something like that. I believe it's matching Nosedive. Alright, Meteor Crash and Smash, so these are Cosmeor's moves. It'll be finally an AoE move. They were always meant to be AoE, but now they are. They're going to hit both targets. And then they're going to be consistently 50 power, or 50 energy. The move Tempest, this is Whippledrift's move. It'll be reworked to use your speed stat to calculate damage rather than your range attack stat. So this is like Body Crash, except it's the speed stat. So this is important because the wind weather is also getting buffed in terms of the speed it gives. So this might be a usable move for Wintrix. Maybe not Wintrix, Whippledrift. This might be usable, might not. We'll have to wait and see. Dissipate's being nerfed to cost 45 energy because it's a negative priority pivot move. It should cost more. It's a really good move. Elemental Burst is going up to 50 energy just to be consistent. It's going from 48 to 50. Zulong won't care one bit. I don't know anything that's going to care about this. Horndashi's being buffed to 70 power, so this is so that it's not just a clone of Driving Force, and so Sumobito has something, right? And then this is also going to be buffed by the new Guru. So essentially, Sumobito is going to have 50% stronger priority in counter stance, and 50% stronger phasing in Horndashi. So he can punish your switches, and he can punish you staying in 50% harder. So Sumobito's getting some sizable buffs here. Some sizable buffs for Sumobito. Vice Jaws is getting reworked. Instead of it proccing the effect of keys, it's going to just bypass melee defense increases. So no more Scapegoat Vice Jaws shenanigans from Tyrex. Speaking of, Scapegoat is getting nerfed to cost 20 energy. It'll be a lot harder to energy stall with Scapegoat because you're using your own energy. However, passive energy regen also exists. Yeah, this nerfs Scapegoat spammers like Jinbi. And then Vice Jaw's Scapegoat shenanigans just... Yeah, they're dead. Dodge is getting reworked to cost 10% of your max energy. This is because of passive energy regen. I believe all of the block moves, so Briar Block, Magma Block, Tone Barrier, Ruffled Feathers, Barb Trap, those are all going to cost 10% of your energy as well. Hydro Blast is being changed so that it no longer dazes, but it will hit both opponents. So it's becoming a doubles, it's going to become a spread move in doubles, Lord help doubles, but no more daze RNG. Ruffled Feathers is getting buffed, so instead of removing hazards, it will set up strong gusts. So you'll have some way of setting up, like, Typhoon will have a way of setting up strong gusts to work with its Tumultuous. The move won't be great still, but it will, I think it would be more likely to be used than before. Dark Surge nerfed the flinch chance to 10%. It's currently 20%. Mega Chomp before got nerfed to 10%, and well, now it's Dark Surge's turn. And then Clamp Claw is getting buffed to 50 energy. This is the same as before with the power draw and all that stuff. This is Terra Claw's move. 50 energy for energy siphoning, but like you're just gonna use Parasitize. Second wind is being changed to being at or below 10% energy instead of 10 points of energy. Stratosaur's never going to use this. This needs a complete rework if you want to see it being used. Whirly Whirl, this is Spreezy's move. It's being reworked. Instead of inflicting daze, it's going to have a 50% chance to increase your range attack by 1 stage. So this is Fiery Dance from Pokemon. Alright, Spit Out. This is being buffed. This is Lumala's move. It's being buffed so that any item that isn't consumed by the move, so like Essence's Volcanic Ash, if it's not a consumable item, the item will still take effect. Okay, so he has Volcanic Ashes written here. Volcanic Ash will only work once for the burn, but this makes it so you can spam the move. This is more than just a one-time use. You can actually spam the move. So essentially, Lumala now has Build-A-Bear coverage that it can spam. This is now hidden power for Lumala. Stampede is being reworked again. The power will now scale with the amount of living party members. And it's going to be plus 30 for each ally alive. So 5 members in your party is 150 power. You can't use the move twice in a row, but it only costs 25 energy from the user and 25 energy from everybody alive in the party. This essentially means if you lead with a Servalant, get your boast boost, 150 base power move. Because Servalant needed it, right? So Servalant, ice types no longer resist it. It now has priority. Stronger priority. You already had Quick Pounce. Now it has Quick Pounce, but basically twice as strong. And now it has a Gigaton Hammer. Uh-oh. Alright. Gobblegoop is getting reworked. It will no longer drain energy, but it will now have a 50% chance to poison instead of what it was before. But it will also double in power if the target is poisoned. It's going to cost 40, but yeah, Gobblegoop will do twice as much damage to poison targets now. So yeah, it's becoming Venoshock that can poison. Muckbuck, it's becoming Nosedive, but Earth type. So 95 power, 1/4 recoil, single target. But yeah, this is a Hoganosh buff, if anything. Reflection Burst, it's going to go from 60 base power to 70. This is to be in line with Revolution and I believe there was one other move, but yeah, Burning, whatever Bill of Forge's move is. Kindling Rage, right, yeah. Alright, Hellstorm, this is a Reptidon Soul move. So, it's being nerfed so that it will only apply to the things hit by Hellstorm. If the new Loomian switches, or if the Loomian switches out, Hellstorm's chip damage goes away. It will only apply to what was directly hit by Hellstorm. So you can switch and get rid of the chip damage. Moving on, we have Soul Harvest. The power is going from 50 to 60. Cool, I guess. All right, so that's all for all the move changes. We have like a couple of item changes. We're not getting any new items, unfortunately. Oh well, I guess. But specialty gloves, goggles, and boots are being nerfed so that they won't do anything unless the Loomian has 4 moves. This isn't a specialty item nerf. This is a specialization nerf. This is not nerfing the specialty items in any impactful way except for this guy right here. I mean, if you only have 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, your specialty item will not do anything. When you have 4 moves, it will do something. So specialization will no longer work with specialty items. Clutch Plushie, it's removing the energy drain effect whenever it procs. I don't know why it ever did. I don't know why it ever costed you energy, but yeah, it won't anymore. Alright, so now we're onto the section where Loomians are getting different abilities. So, up first we have Gardrone. Gardrone only has 2 abilities, so it has a slot for an extra one. So, as a normal ability, it's getting Levitate. And if you don't know what Levitate does, it makes you immune to all Earth moves. So, Gardrone will be able to have an Earth immunity, which is huge. It'll be the only resistance to the Ice and Earth combo. because it resists ice and will be immune to earth. Too bad almost everything that has that combo also has a brawler move. Krakaloa is having its territorial changed to Scorching Skin. So base Krakaloa will get Scorching Skin. So you could possibly proc a burn before you Soul Burst into Soul Burst Krakaloa. Volcaloa is getting its territorial change to Berserk. So, you know, Banoki's ability? It'll also have that. So enjoy the Earth, Fire, Ancient, and Plant coverage all in one. You know, big choice, big specialty gloves effect in your ability. Oh boy. Crumble is getting Triumph over Territorial. Essentially, he's getting rid of Territorial from the game. Nothing's gonna have Territorial when after this update. He doesn't like Territorial. It's poofing. Kirillin, instead of Territorial, will have Shakedown. Now, I know a lot of people are mad at this because he also toyed with the idea of it getting Power Napper. And so he chose Shakedown. This is irrelevant. This is irrelevant. It's just going to keep running Hasty and keep missing. Alright, up next we have Cosmeor in case losing Regift for quick recovery. So it won't be able to bounce back hazards or anything, but it will be able to clear status immediately. Cosmeor Cracked is going to be losing Regift for Eager, and if you don't know what that ability is, it is Berserk, but ranged moves. Because after we saw Banoki, we decided, yeah, we need more of that. Skellig is losing Contact Curse. This is its secret ability for Brute Force. So this is just a buff for Skellig if you're not using the Soul Burst. But this just means you can use Skellig without a Soul Burst now, which is cool. Ferroglyph also losing Contact Curse for Coerce, which is a new ability. What this ability will do is all of your moves will cost 10% less energy, and all of your opponent's moves will cost 10% more energy while Ferroglyph is on the field. So yeah, that's Ferroglyph's new ability. You probably still use Temper, but, you know, there might be some use case for this. I don't know. Sin Ogre is losing Vigilant for Ignorant. So it will be able to ignore any stat changes the target has. This will be really good when it gets its new signature move. It's not getting it yet, but it will be able to heal itself. So Sin Ogre will eventually have healing on top of Ignorant. Not yet, though. Wiki is losing Chaperone for Compliant. This makes it unable to be provoked or deja vu'd or anything. So Wiki will be able to use all of its support options unhindered. Avitross losing Early Bird for Madcap. So this will buff Nosedive, this will buff Thunder Crash, and I believe that's it. Pyrex is losing Staunch for Overclock, which is a new ability that will double its speed in Thunderstorm, which Sherbot will also be getting. Our boy Iron Fumble will have double speed in Thunderstorm. Wendelin is losing Temper for Gloomy, so I guess you could use a mixed Wendelin in Fog without needing to take a hit to get your range attack buffed, I guess. Maybe. Revenine is going to be losing Scorching Skin for Stalker, which is Overclock, but in Fog. Wispup will not be getting this. Jamie specified that Wispup will remain with Scorching Skin, but yeah, Revenine's getting Stalker. It'll have double speed in Fog. Cool, I guess. Zeppelin is losing Confidence for Tumultuous, so if you don't want to use Turbulent, you can use Tumultuous in Strong Gusts, and if it ever gets Typhoon, sick. Terrafly and Terraclaw are losing Odd Husk for Volatile, which is Overclock and Stalker, but for Heatwave. So they will get double speed in Heatwave, and Infernix is losing Scorching Skin for Volatile as well. Munchwheel is losing Salvage for Forge. Now this is an ability Billaforge used to have, and now Munchwheel has it. So it will take half damage from fire moves, so it'll no longer be weak to them, and it will get a melee attack increase anytime it's hit by a fire move. Vesperatu is losing Sharp Claws for Demanding because Sharp Claws Vesperatu just hit way too dang hard. So then you're going to switch to Awakening for roughly 5% decrease in damage. Anyway. So Vesperatu will be just fine. It's just you'll run Awakening if you want the big damage. Gondorvale is losing Shakedown for Burglar, so it'll be able to get rid of all items anytime it hits the target, which is a big buff. So yeah, that's Goner Veil. Waka Laka is losing Enchanted Coat for its secret ability for Fungus Setter. If you do not know what this is, it's a new ability where at the end of the turn, it will set up Fungus Curse automatically. Again, the effectiveness of this buff, much like Party Trick and Trader, will hinge on whether or not this activates like Rev Up, which requires a full turn on the field, or if it will just happen as you switch in. If it's the latter, this is really good for Waka Laka. If it's the former, uh-oh. So yeah, that's all with the Loomians getting new abilities. Now we're on to Loomians losing moves. Wrestling is losing Rogue Assault. You know, no more forcing spirit types because Wrestling hits way too dang hard. Operaptor, Concrodon, Tyrex, they're losing Scapegoat. I don't know why. Like, Vice Jaws is getting nerfed. Scapegoat is getting nerfed. The strategy is dead. I don't know why they're losing Scapegoat. But whatever, right? Jelusaline is losing Luster Loot. So no more recovery. Jalusa's already in a rough spot, but it's losing Luster Loot. I believe it's getting Deep Freeze, which is later on in the patch notes, but we'll see. Snagoop is losing Tsunami, and I believe it's also getting Maroon, but we'll have to find out later. Landtorch is losing Flash and Flee. It can still pivot with Fade Away, but it will no longer be able to pivot against a Light type. So he is just making sure Light types fully counter Landtorch. Deladrix is losing Zip Zap. It was just too good at enabling Rain. You can still use Thunderstrike for Unga Bunga coverage, but no longer will Deladrix be able to pivot. Bar Badger is losing Earthquake, so it still has Clay Slap, but no more Earthquake to, you know, bigger damage with your Dauntless boost. Metronet will no longer have Headache Split, so Volcanic Ash with Headache Split, especially because Headache Split is getting buffed, Metronet is losing it. Lashent is losing Fade Away because Lashent already does everything known to man, so it will just lose its ability to pivot for free. Bonoki, it's losing Raging Tackle and Rogue Assault. It's losing its 120 base power stabs. So it will have to rely on Body Slam and Banana Slam for stab options now. Ikazune is losing Flash and Flee. No more double pivot for the guy. So no more, like, basically freely enabling any kind of offensive core for Ikazune. Will actually have to deal with Earth types. Plasmoth also losing Flash and Flee. However, for him, he just uses Dissipate. Alright, all of these things are losing Tamp. Obelisk, Plasmoth, Shrimpos, Pronzu, Scampy, and Garbantus. All of these guys are losing Tamp. So Scampy, you know, like I said earlier, Scampy was getting nerfed. Scampy's losing it, Garbantus losing it, Plasmoth and Obelisk are all losing it. Gastroke does not lose it, for anybody wondering. Gastroke is not on the list, it will keep it for now. These things are all losing Barter. So Phage Not Elephage, Cephalops, Fiscarna, Swirl, Mocho, Metatoad, Skellic. These are all losing Barter. No more Barter Boots, Phage Not. No, I guess no more Barter Cephalops. He just wants to lower the distribution of Barter. Speaking of lowering distribution, Bait, this is all for doubles lovers. So, he's not done with this move yet. He's just doing an initial clearing of Bait. Gargolem's losing Bait, Phage Not, Ikazune, Fiscarna, Taoshinu, Oxydrake, Joltooth, Lashent, Yursnek, Chartiki, Searknight, and Imperior are all losing Bait. That's what it is. Now, this is for Loomians getting moves. So, we have Cephalops getting Wave Wrecker. I mean, if you look at the win rate in ranked, people will be like, oh, this makes sense, but people also know that Cephalops is really strong already. We'll see what happens here. Wobblisk is getting Vital Jab, so it has a melee version of Luster Loot. Sure, why not? Shrimp Host is getting Vital Jab and Rogue Assault. Cool. Why not? Ursul getting Harrow. So what this tells me, right? We didn't learn from Vesperatu. We did not. We learned nothing. We learned nothing from Vesperatu. We learned nothing. Have Vesperatu, but again. Here you go, guys. You want it? Vesperatu losing Sharp Pose? Here we go. Vesperatu 2. Lumala's getting Energy Break. I don't know if it already has this move or not, but if it doesn't, it will now. Spreezy's getting Barbs. That's cool. I mean, it lets Spreezy do a little bit more than just sit there with Pestilence, right? Shachi's getting Dissipate. This is irrelevant. Bewarn's getting Dissipate. This is slightly more relevant. Because Bewarned is no longer weak to Spirit. Because Simple's going to resist it. So, Bewarned will be able to live a little easier, but it still doesn't have recovery. Mewtwo, why on God's green earth are we given this thing Magnify and Provoke? What is Mewtwo magnifying? What is magnifying on Mewtwo? Seer Knight is getting Burn Up. Why not? It has hazard removal now. Why not? Taushina is going to get Dissipate, so the dog can just disappear. Because that makes sense. Sinogre's getting Teardown, so it'll have removal. Weaslin's getting Teardown. Malamurk getting Teardown. Oxydrake getting Teardown. None of these will use it, because Teardown sucks. Which will be addressed in Season 2, right? Valkyrie, Vesperatu, and Gobademic are all getting Gust. And Gobademic also getting Teardown. Sherbot, Iron Fumble also getting Teardown and Burn Up, so now it has all of the removal except for Mudslide. Harvestect also getting Burn Up. Why not, I guess? Sure. Ragoon's getting Barbs and Icicle Trap. It'll finally have things to whip out of its bag. Skellic getting Icicle Trap. Barbadger getting Icicle Trap. Leviatros getting Icicle Trap. Odiyaga getting Icicle Trap. So, more hazard distribution here. Tyrex is getting Slumber in place of Scapegoat, I guess. Jalusa is getting Deep Freeze. Snagoop is getting Maroon. So Snagoop's getting watered down water coverage. Sure. Jalusa's getting Deep Freeze back to, it's trading Luster Loot for Deep Freeze, so it can deal with water types at the cost of self-recovery. Deladrix is getting Dissipate instead of Zip Zap, so if you want to use Bezeldew to set up Rain, you can. And then Banfino's getting Banana Split, because it is a banana. Now we're on to completely new moves. These are new moves being added to different Loomians with this balance patch. So Sukame is getting Sea's Song. This has been something it was going to get for like a year and a half, 2 years now. It is an 80 base power water move. It is a sound-based pivot move, and it's 60 energy. Blowtox is going to get a move called Bone Crusher. It is an 80 power, 46 energy toxic move that will ignore melee defense increases, but also have a 10% chance to drop their melee defense by one stage. So we have a couple things ignoring melee defense coming here. Glissadia, this isn't new. This is not new. Borealis has this. Glissadia will too. It's actually bitter cold, but you know. Munchwheel is getting a move called Clean Up. It is a metal move. 72 energy, this is way too much. It will remove entry hazards and heal 50% of Munchwheel's health. However, you have to remove hazards to get the healing. If there are no hazards to remove, there's nothing to heal from. You cannot clean up thin air, which is why I said it should cost less. Teclipse is going to get a new move, Gluminous Fangs, so that it can use its melee attack stat that it got gutted to use, to have. So it's Gluminous Roar, but melee. And then here's some bug fixes. A herd behavior currently does nothing. Okay. This no longer happens, but sure. Gorge will finally work with Shatter. It will heal when you use Shatter. Like, you'll take the damage and then you'll heal from the hazard being set, or being attempted to set. Trickshot will no longer be a contact move. Discordance will finally have a description and be a sound-based move. Wonder Herb, its energy pops down immediately. Who cares? Bursting Seams will finally... It will finally attempt to get your item back more than once. Not that your snack will ever use this, but, like, it's cool that it's happening. Radiant Forecast. It's been super buggy with immunities. Like, Teclipse, it's immune when the thing hits, but Prismatic is immune when you try to set it. Reflective, I believe, is the same. It's going to all be changed so that it happens when Radiant Forecast hits. Also, it apparently hits things trying to be invulnerable. so it won't. Memorize will be changed so that it actually saves the move when you switch out. Soul Burst priority bug will be removed. And now, the last bit of the balance patch is the weather changes. So every weather is getting changed in some way, shape, or form. Rain, you will deal 30% more water damage and take 30% less fire damage rather than 25%. So rain's getting buffed because it needed it. Heat wave, the same thing, 30% more fire damage, 30% less water damage because it needed it. And then instead of melting ice types, it will make it so bug types have a 10% energy discount. So instead of hurting ice types for existing, bug types will have synergy with heat wave. So it's just making it so you can pair more things with heat wave rather than nothing else, right? Thunderstorm. It's going to make it so energy moves do 25, or not energy, electric moves do 25% more damage. And instead of making it so they have increased accuracy, electric type moves will have 25% reduced energy. So energy moves will electric moves will cost less in Thunderstorm. Air-type Loomians will become grounded. So this means is Stratosaur will become weak to Earthquake if it is in a Thunderstorm. And then Loomians can't fall asleep. So, yeah, Air-type Loomians will no longer be weak to Earth. Or Air-type Loomians will no longer be immune to Earth in Thunderstorm because they're too scared to be in the air. So they're grounded. Makes sense, but it also makes it harder to build because electric types are weak to Earth, which are now stronger in Thunderstorms. So, I mean, it's easier for the Thunderstorm user to build around. Wait. It's easier for the Thunderstorm user to build around, but, like, yeah, it's weird. It's a double-edged sword. Levitate will still work, yes. We have Strong Gusts now. Strong Gusts are being buffed so that instead of 10% more speed, Air-type Loomians will have 25% more speed. So this basically, to put this into context, Whipple Drift can outspeed Protogon in Strong Gusts now. It will also increase Toxic type damage by 25%. So more Toxic types will also have synergy with Strong Gusts. It will still nullify trapping mechanics, which, like, cool, I guess. Anyway, now we have Fog. So, instead of just completely turning off abilities, it will now make it so Spirit-type Loomians will ignore non-Spirit-type Loomians' abilities. So, basically, let's say a Vesperatu, for some reason, and this is just off the top of my head, wants to switch into an Ambush Joltu Thunderclap. The ambush boost would not be there. But if a Luminami did it, it would be there. The Fog's effect will now only apply to Spirit types. Light types will be immune to this, by the way. So Light types will keep their ability when attacking a Spirit. But yeah, this makes it so basically Spirit types have Devious, both offensively and defensively. Now, what it used to be like is when Spirit-type Loomians used 2-turn moves like Apparition, Plunge, and all that, they would skip the first turn. Now it's every Loomian who has a 2-turn move will skip the first turn. And I say skip because there's a move called Solar Punch that will boost your melee attack on the first turn. So if you use it in Fog, your melee attack will not be boosted. It'll just fire off in one turn. And that is the entire balance patch. That is one big list of changes that's all happening on Thursday. So I want you guys to let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think there's still going to be quite a few problems with this season. I think Surfland going to be one of the biggest problems. But let me know your thoughts on the comments. What's going to be broken? What's going to suck? What needs more buffs? What needs more nerfs? And if it doesn't happen tomorrow, aka Thursday, are we really surprised this change? These balance patches has been sitting here for like 2 years now. Anyway, I'm out of here. Go away.